It's recording for the
Yeah, we did it for the RDC. Yeah, we actually streamed it.
I'm gonna try something a little different. I got this hill, but I've got that little house across the old thing that this work. My grandson moved in over there. He turned 18 on Easter.
Oh, wow.
Now he's still living. You know, you want to go with that?
Oh, I know.
Oh, did you? Okay.
First I had to take it. I called him back. He didn't answer. What you do? Kind of quiet. Holds up the face again.
15-minute delay. Or 15 minutes.
And just as you have it.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty delay.
Okay, guys, you guys will notice that when these little small speakers turn green, that means the recording equipment is on. So that,
Everybody comes. And it's like, October, you have to people your first Exactly, yeah.
I said you put your finger on and pause if you don't want anybody to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I didn't know about the pause thing.
Yeah, but it's not going to control these things. It's just control those.
Dang, I can't set something on the entire meeting.
But they need to, I mean, I've always wondered.
That's not fair.
Answer, you having a good night?
Hey, are we at?
Do what?
How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Can't complain yet.
It's nice and warm and sunny. It's always good when it's nice and warm and sunny early April.
Where is it? There he is.
I figured you had it.
It's gonna be interesting. That is, I don't have anything. There's one of our county commissioners. He apparently brought this. We are all right tonight. No, it just came, they just did it today.
No,
But
it's
she's
not
in the
on.
audience, so we can ask him to give us it in a nutshell.
It should be on now, Shane.
So we're using these. Okay.
And this is just government county stuff, so.
Or Jeff, you ready? Good. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for your invocation? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear God, as we gather this evening, we thank you for this wonderful town that we live in, the beautiful weather that we experience today. We ask for strength, courage, and wisdom as a council. And we ask for your patience. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Call to order the April 6th meeting of the Morrisville Town Council. Gentlemen have had an opportunity to read the minutes from our previous meeting. I need a motion to either approve or amend the minutes.
Make a motion we approve minutes from the March 16th, 2021 meeting.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Dustin and Craig. 5. Unfinished business. Farmhouse Street Fair permit. I don't know. Go ahead.
I can give you this paperwork.
Please.
So we're just waiting on Chief Jillian and Chief Dalton to sign it. But we did get an action plan approved. There's a map too. We have one of the 3 signatures that we need. So the map there tells you where all the entrances are going to be. It also tells you where all of the food truck vendors, all of the actual vendors, where the porta potties are going to be, where everything is going to be. And we're going to have stations on all 4 corners with masks and hand sanitizer. And at each entrance there's going to be security.
So you're shutting down all 4 ways is what this is requesting.
Mhm.
I thought at our last meeting you talked about just doing the one end, but you're wanting to do everything.
Yes. I have enough vendors to support it. We actually have more than enough vendors to support that. And since it's only for 5 hours and we're taking into account for Hallie's business, we're taking into account for the road closures, we're taking into account for everything.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Say
That's
again
okay.
about you're taking into account.
We're taking into account for Hallie Mae's business. So she has weddings, we're taking into account for the road closures. That's why we kept it at 5 hours.
Okay, let's pass these down. Public restrooms available inside or okay. And you have not been able to contact, or was there any reason why you don't have anything from the police and fire?
Yes, the fire says he wasn't going to approve it until after he got the numbers back for the COVID for spring break.
Mm-hmm.
And Chief Jillian was on vacation.
Okay.
step down and ask them if they have any questions. I don't know. Thank you very much.
I don't think the fire chief, I don't think he's there, he's on spring break.
I couldn't hear you.
I think fire chief Dalton's on spring break. I know.
No.
Oh, no, never mind.
She said Chief.
Oh, okay,
Julian
he
was
was,
on.
never mind.
But Chief
For
Dalton.
the police and fire chief, have you guys had a chance to look at this new proposal from last meeting or no?
We want to wait till the spring break numbers.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Can we have
I've not looked at the new proposal because I'm still waiting on Track's evaluation. I mean, we weren't able to do that 2 weeks ago because they delayed the closure. This weekend's gonna be our first full closure, and I plan on doing a traffic study this weekend and next weekend to see how that's gonna impact with those hours that you have provided. After I get those 2 weekends, then I'll make a final decision. You said it's a 5-hour event? But on the permit here, it's an 8-hour event?
We have to have time for setup and tear down.
So it's gonna be total
So
8
it's
hours of
from-
closure?
Yes, 7 in the morning
Yeah.
till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Got it.
Can I just leave that with you? Or do I have to take it back?
Have you been meeting with you met with Dave? Have you been meeting with the police and fire?
Well, I met with them originally,
Uh-huh.
and they told me exactly what to do. They gave me the plan to do it. They did exactly what they asked me to do. They asked me to wait, and I waited. And I waited, and I even kept track of whether or not there has been any regular COVID cases since spring break, and there has not been. We're still in the same position we were in last time. And I said, it's not gonna give us enough time to actually plan this event if we wait and wait. And they both said, just keep going with your plans, just keep going, we'll just wait and wait. I have to wait and wait. And I've waited, I've did everything everyone asked me to do. And here I am now, I have to wait more. I don't know what else to do other than, I mean, I don't want to cancel the event. The whole reason why we moved down here, why we moved our business from a 4,000 square foot building to a 1,500 square foot building is so that we could have access to downtown areas, so that we could do this, so that we could have street fairs. That was the whole plan from a year ago. And I'm finding a lot of difficulty trying to get that done. And it's not just for me, like I said last time. It isn't just for me. And it's not like we're asking for an exorbitant amount of hours. We're asking for very few hours. We're asking for time to, help these businesses downtown. I mean, I'm not telling you my business isn't suffering, because it is. I mean, we're like a ghost town down there. Bringing events downtown is going to help the businesses downtown flourish. So I don't understand why it's such a difficulty to get just a few hours, just a permit for a few hours to help the businesses down there. I don't understand.
I think hopefully you understand that we do try to be fair and even across the board with everyone. We make everyone play by the exact same rules.
I would love to
count-
do that.
We also count on our police and our fire and our street department to evaluate the situation, and we trust them to make good decisions. And we don't try to rush them. We don't try to push them. We want them to be comfortable with what they're doing, because at the end of the day, I think they're the ones that are going to be the most responsible for when things go wrong. They're going to be the first ones to run out there and try to fix any problems that we have. So obviously, I know that we want them to be comfortable with what they're doing, and I would assume that you want them to be comfortable with it also, since that's our first line of defense.
Of course I do.
So, is there any other comments?
In the action plan that was approved, it said private security. I know that you are saying that we're throwing in a lot of things. The private security will have to submit something about their insurance to us. And we'll have to be also an insurer on the event, so.
Okay.
If I'm correct, legal. Let me put that back.
Okay, yeah, so with the private security issue, what we'll need to do is just make sure that they have a liability policy, that they can add the town as an additional assured on the deck page.
What if they're volunteers?
Well, we're going to have issues there, because when we call them security, when we label them security and give them the authority to control the crowd, we want to make sure that they are qualified to do that. And so that's why private insurance company or private security companies can be retained to do that, because in most cases, when you look at those types of companies, oftentimes they are off-duty police officers who have been trained in crowd control, things of that nature, when they do create those private protection type companies. And so with those security officers, I would not want to officially name somebody as private security controlling the crowd.
So I need to adjust my action plan to say voluntary security?
Council, could I comment on that real quick?
Yeah.
Normally, when we have these shutdowns, and what we normally provide, I usually provide a minimum of 2 officers whenever we have downtown closures. So, I mean, you're gonna get free security if we choose to have the event. So, I mean,
don't need it?
no, every time we do a closure, I provide officers for that event.
And I also provide the EMS and fire for that.
So if the event is approved, I will provide officers for the event.
And that's what I just want to say. I have not seen the proposal that you guys are looking at. The last proposal, or the first proposal I got was March 29th.
I emailed it to you directly the same day it got approved. It's the same thing.
I guess my map is not what they're showing then. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the exact same thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, and I didn't see anywhere on security, but anyway, I did talk to Steve Leday with IDHS. We did have a spike from Friday till today. At Friday, we were at 3.8% in COVID, and today we were at 5.3. So we did have a spike. We had 125 cases over the weekend. So, again, I'm okay with it, but we don't know the unknown. If you guys are okay with it, I will adjust accordingly and make our staffing do what needs to be done.
More comments from the council?
Didn't Steve Leday approve it?
I saw him approve the sheet, is that from him directly?
Yeah, Steve Lede did approve it on the 29th. And again, like I said, when I talked to him today about some other things that I'm going to address tonight with you guys, that's what I asked him also about was the raise, excuse me, with the positive cases and all that stuff over the spring break.
Did he change his opinion with you?
He did not. Morgan County is still in the, what is that, the blue section or whatever it is. Now if we go up to the 5.5 and 6, then we're going to be back into the orange. Or the yellow, whatever that next color is.
He did tell me that I would need to adjust how many people we let into the event, and I did include that in the action plan, and I am aware if we do go back into yellow, that I will have to adjust it, and I agreed to do that. But we are a month away from the event. We are still a month away.
The problem I see is you've got a process that everybody knows. It's a permit. You get the signatures and then you bring it to us for approval. So when you start advertising the event before you got the approval, that's not our fault.
No, I know, I know that.
Yeah,
I'm aware,
so-
but there is a process when you do events like this. There is a process. You can't just do everything last minute. I know.
Yeah.
I did not know necessarily about the permit process.
Right.
When I came to you the first time, and you asked me to do those things, I did the things that you asked me to do.
But the permit's not signed by the department heads.
And you are correct.
Yeah.
I don't-
So that's the part that we're missing.
I'm not giving you excuses. I'm just
That's
telling
just
you
the
that.
facts. It's
Yes,
nothing-
correct.
I'm not being mean. I'm just
I know.
saying, we don't have a fully completed permit.
Correct. However, the two gentlemen that need to sign the permit are still here, but he still has to do his testing and,
The issue I have, the only thing I have is the traffic issue. You know, I mean, I think at some point you have to open back up. At some point, somebody's gonna have to make a decision to open up. You know, so, but I don't know what High Street will do to Main because they've got the route going through Main, the detour route. That's the part I don't know. Can you, and I don't know if we can even detour into Washington Street for those few hours or something like that, you know?
Well, when you walk off, they would be detours to those other streets. The problem you also have is that's just an unofficial detour. The actual, I guess, for lack of a better, end-up detours are basically heavy truck and bus type vehicles, and they stay on the state roads, but they're hitting the rear eye around State Road 39 up to I-70 and back in that way. It's a mess. I mean, and if you see the way the traffic happens.
I mean, what can we do today? Can we do anything without their signatures?
I won't do anything without their signatures. I don't know about the rest of the council. I mean, he still needs time to look at the traffic study, and I agree with that. I mean, traffic is awful right now. I mean, Main Street today was impossible to get down, you know, so I'm for the event, you know, but let's follow the process. And is this gonna be your final set, how you wanna do it?
what are you suggesting? Would you have another suggestion?
No, I'm
I mean,
asking.
Yes, I would like it to be my final.
Okay.
However, if I have to adjust,
Okay.
I can do that. I just need to know that that's what I need to do. I'm hoping that I don't have to.
Sure.
However,
I was like Tom last week, I thought we were going from Main down to Clay, using the back alleys, using the parking lot. But now we're on the West Main and taking all four corners, which is fine if that's what we're gonna do.
right. Can you look at it again, at least look at it one more time and say to yourself, okay, well, how would it affect me and my travels? If we need to adjust, I'm willing to do that. I just need to know how we need to adjust. Because, you know, as far as I knew, I was going the right route, doing the right things, making the right decisions to get the permit today. That's what my thinking was. I thought that we were on the right track and on the right road. And if we're not, I want to get there. I want to get on that road because we are a month away. And you're right. I did advertise, but that's the process of how we have to advertise for events. Otherwise, there's no point in doing the events if you don't advertise, and if you don't tell people it's happening, you
Right,
can't tell
normally
them.
we would just start the permit process earlier.
Right,
so
but
that you would-
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't, and
I
I started it as early as I knew that I could.
I understand.
So, I mean, I'm not giving excuses.
No,
I'm just saying
I want
if,
you to against you.
I know.
I want you to have the event. You know, I want the town to have the event.
I do too.
I want it to do, be the right way. Is the only hold up the traffic study, Chief? Is that what you want to see?
On me, I want to see how the traffic does on a weekend day during those time frames.
Okay.
Like, and this is our first week when we have a full closure from 42 into Jefferson Street.
Okay. Chief Dolan, are you prepared to sign tonight?
If
Or is there anything else you want to look at?
Not really. I mean, again, the spikes and the COVID and stuff like that, I mean, it's going to fluctuate, and it's the unknown. I'm okay with it. Again, I kind of look with Chief Jillian with the traffic study, but, you know, the west side of town for us, for getting out and doing fire stuff is impossible right now, but we make it work, so.
What'd you say there? That last statement, what'd you say? About the
we
west
make-
side of town?
The west side is messed up, and getting through is hard for us if we have to go outside of town for coverage or on runs, but we make it work.
I think our department they have the authorization to pull that permit at any time if it poses a problem, traffic hazard,
And
or
like
whatever. I mean, can we approve the permit contingent upon his traffic study? And then if there's an issue, then they can pull it, then she can readdress the council, or, I'm just trying to get them answers because that's what they're wanting.
And like I even told him on the first meeting I had, go ahead and continue it, but also put it out there if you want to advertise it, let them know that this contingency could change because of everything that's going on with the traffic, the COVID, and everything like that. So, I don't know if that was advertised that this event for May the 8th, is that right? Could possibly push back a little bit more? Can we push it with the traffic study with you doing?
So I think, don't you have two other ones, at least that you would have a contingency that you want to do, is that correct?
Yes, July 17th and September 18th. Basically exactly the same setup. Same hours, everything. Identical.
We're still gonna have traffic issues in July and September,
Right. We're still gonna have the traffic issues then, and it's still gonna be the exact same thing. And I'm willing to come right back to you and address it again. I'm willing to do that, but we're not necessarily on a time crunch here, but I just assumed that I was doing everything right, doing what the council asked me to do. I just assumed that that's what I was doing. And
No,
I just don't-
Like I said, I assumed that, I thought we talked about just this side of Main Street. I
we
thought
did. We talked about both scenarios.
Uh-huh.
We
You
did.
mentioned west too,
Mhm.
on, the west side.
What's your contingency on, if we talked about both of them, then what's your contingency if we just do the east side of Main? I know that I had asked, could you use the parking lot, could we shut down Harrison Street? Just have this block here to where you still have the traffic that's trying to come around, being able to shoot up in North Indiana Street or down North Indiana Street, still come in on the west side here. Was there any thought of that?
Do you have the map up there?
I did.
Show me what you mean so that I can, because so you're talking,
I'm talking that if right now, if you used this right here. From here, shut this down, came down here to this parking lot, used this parking lot, came over and used this big parking lot, and then used Harrison Street. But not close this road or not close this road. Because at this point, and I don't know right here, if we shut that down at Washington Street, you, in essence, have shut down the bank. Because we had that same problem with the, when we did the.
So we can go, here is just where the estimation was for us. So we can actually shorten that up here. Up by Brandon Church, we can shorten that up.
That wouldn't be Brandon Schwartz though.
But we can get closer to where Brandon Schwartz is.
Brandon
Up
Schwartz
here.
is
Because
right
Brandon-
here. Brandon Schwartz is right here.
Oh, that's where I'm thinking that. Okay.
This is
So what if
Citizens Bank here.
what if we exclude this one right here? What
What
if we
if-
just go,
Yeah, I
we just
agree.
shut down these three?
I understand.
Here, here, and here. What if we do that? And just take away that?
What if you take, that's what I'm asking you, what if you take away this and this? Have you figured?
Because it's not, because the whole reason why we're doing it for downtown Warsville is for everybody. So if we exclude these folks,
There's
and there
High
are
Street
still folks over
concessions,
here
so
too. So
it will
if
move on
we
up.
exclude everybody
It
from
will
the street,
change
then,
Well, you're not,
It's not-
all you're excluding at that point in time is the vendors.
because of the
The
if
vendors.
we do it here,
Huh?
and we have it in the parking lot, okay?
And in the back parking lot also.
And then in the back,
Yeah, we
then
got
we're
another, we got
I
another
mean, how
park,
is that gonna?
we got another huge parking lot here
Yeah,
and
I
then this
know.
road here.
It's back behind the building,
Mhm.
that big parking lot. And then the parking lot right next to it.
Mhm. You're
How are
not,
we gonna-
you're excluding the vendors that are parking on the street, but you're not excluding the businesses, because you would still have the foot traffic with, the protected walk, walk and don't walk signs.
So what you're saying is,
Leave it.
we just do here?
Yes.
But then we still need to have room for the food trucks, the DJ booth, and Gina is supplying one of the food trucks electricity. And,
And Bud and Bloom will
I mean,
have a lot of
we
units,
need
so-
to have that electricity
What's that?
for the food trucks.
So it's all right
So
with that.
the only one that would be supplying electricity on Main Street would be me.
Uh-huh.
And Les is supplying the ice cream. We have a rolled ice cream truck that's gonna be right here in front of Les's spot, and he's supplying the electricity for them.
Okay.
So we have, but again, I ask you to maybe, if you can, look at it from here and not exclude these guys and these guys over here. And I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
I don't think you do. I
But
think,
here-
I think on this one here, that my concerns are different from yours. My concerns are with traffic.
Oh, gotcha.
My concerns are with the 10,000 plus or minus people in the town of Mooresville having a clear and access route to there. I have received some comments and emails that have showed concern, expressed concern about the traffic shutting. Now we have this one shut down, now we have this one shut down. I have got that. Everyone
not-
thinks it's great. They're wanting to support the downtown merchants.
But it's not an everyday thing, and that's what I'm trying to point out. It's not every day. It's one day out of the entire month that it's going to be shut down from 7 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's one day. One. I'm only asking for one.
I understand.
I'm only asking for that. And
I understand completely.
what if I want to do 3, okay? What if we just try this one this way? If it doesn't.
What if we try it my way first?
Okay, let me ask you, let me
Now, wait a minute,
re-ask the
let's
question.
include all the council.
Let me
See,
re-ask
we're
the
negotiating
question.
now on how many square feet we need.
Let me re-ask the question.
Okay.
What if you agreed
As part of the
to,
discussion, I would be totally okay with just that East Main Street from Indiana to that first alley and then have the blockade down at the, where we're going to put it in play. I would be comfortable with that, because that would help with the unofficial detail. Just throwing that out.
I'm sorry, I almost heard everything you said, but I want to make sure that I'm hearing everything you're saying. Because I want to be as, I kind of, you guys, I have to be as agreeable as I can possibly be here, because otherwise I won't get an approval. But what if we try it once? That's what I'm asking.
That's what I'm asking you. What if we try it my way once?
But then we won't know how this. But then we won't know how this works if we don't. If we don't try it once, we won't know how it works. But if we try it once, see if it works, see how it works.
But the problem is that your next event, that section is moving, and they're going to shut down from, I believe, Jefferson, and it's going to go on to the other side of Indiana. So they're going to totally shut that whole intersection. Now, I don't know how they're going to do it, if they're going to do it in lanes or what, but we're going to have a whole other problem for the next one. So it might not work for your next one.
So what if we do it your way on the next one?
You're just dying to say something.
I'm just asking because.
Is she with you?
Gina?
Yes.
Elizabeth, yes.
She's dying to say something.
So, hi, I'm Elizabeth. I own, it used to be Ross Stillwell's office right on the corner, so I don't really have any participation in the street fair. But I do have concerns we have on our end of town. Brand Shorts, Yellow Moon, Gina's New Shop, Baggage and Boutique, and if we're only closing down the one end, I feel like people are gonna congregate down there. So it's gonna be great for Kim and the vendors, but not so much for the downtown area.
Right.
I also have concerns if we are only closing down the one end of the street, if people want to go down there, then we have them crossing the street. Those crosswalks are terrible, I jaywalk all the time. And so then we have a safety problem. But so then we have a safety problem, and we have the extra traffic that you're anticipating, and we have people walking to get to the other businesses. I feel like that's a safety concern. So I'm for closing down the whole street for 8 hours. It's one day. People are going to complain no matter what we do. So we might as well make whatever we're doing good for our community.
People never complain.
Oh, shame.
As a business owner at the stoplight, because I'm literally right at the stoplight, and right next door to Nosh, I see traffic on Saturday mornings. I realize that it's going to be a little more here, you know, and I apologize, I'm not trying to, you have a good job to do. But traffic on Saturday mornings during those hours, I don't usually see anybody until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, there's cars, but people aren't out as thick on early Saturday mornings as they are in Saturday evenings or Friday evenings. Because we don't have the regular work traffic that we would have through the week.
And my business is open on Saturdays too, and we normally don't get a person to walk in our store until afternoon. Like noon and after. So, and traffic doesn't get heavy. We keep our front door open a lot. So we know, I know the traffic patterns and when I need to close the door because it's going to be too loud. And on Saturdays, yes, it gets busy, but it doesn't get busy until afternoon. So.
Are you arguing for or against?
I'm arguing.
Oh.
I'm arguing for. It sounds like I'm arguing against, but honestly, I'm not. I know. I know what the traffic is like down there. I've been down there long enough now to know what it's going to be like on a Saturday. Saturdays are really our best day for everything.
Sure.
But
we're closing the street. We've got a road closed. I don't know if you've seen how it's going to be.
I do.
with that.
I've seen it. I've looked at all the maps on.
No, I mean, I don't know if you know how it's going to be as far as on Saturday traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the things I get complained to about is the traffic.
I know.
Especially with what NDOT is doing now. So, council, I don't know. I mean, we put a process in place. We've not fulfilled that process. I don't know what the council wants to do from there. I did, and she did acknowledge if we shut Indiana Street down north of Main to Washington Street, we have in essence at that point in time closed Citizens Bank because we ran into that last during the tornado when we closed it at Washington Street and they said, hey, we can't even get into the bank.
So what if we take that road, what if we take that road completely off?
Like they do for Victoria Crystal.
Really, yeah.
They can turn into citizens to turn around.
Yeah, that's what, I mean,
If they
that's,
go up, there's an alley there too.
right, that's what I pointed out was, we could either, and she even said, move it all the way up to the other, but I don't know that that would do any good, because then you're just gonna get a bunch of people boxed up between the alley and Main Street. So just shut it like we did the last time during the tornado, shut it there at the alley, if that's what we choose to
Do you
do.
know what
But-
time does the bank close?
Yeah, you shut
11?
it, you shut it
11?
before the
Bank.
restrooms there.
Does it
Right.
close at 11, the bank?
So if I were to, are you gonna accept motions on this?
If that's what you wanna do, I mean, I'll accept anything you want me to.
Okay, I'm
No.
gonna ask the business owners a question. If I make a motion to accept their plan as is, pending the police chief's approval, and he denies it, I don't want you going around bad mouthing him. The only reason he would do that is for safety reasons, and that's valid.
Right.
All right, is that fair?
Oh, yeah. I'll never badmouth Kevin.
It's gonna be on him, and everybody's gonna know it. And that's a bad spot to put him in, because he tries to work with everybody.
Right.
This street's only been closed a week, and they haven't been able to see what it's like on a weekend.
This will be the first week we'll be able to find out what it's like.
Yeah.
Chief, if I did that, would you feel thrown under the bus?
Big bucks.
Wait and see, that would be if I had my choice.
Okay.
What if you give it to us contingent
That's what I'm
on
saying.
That's what we're
the,
working toward,
yeah.
But if I give a contingent upon that plan, there's, I would still like an option to modify that plan.
You have an option. Yeah, if you denied it, then they would have to come back next meeting and modify it.
When's the next meeting?
It would be the third Tuesday in April.
And that's too late because, I mean, we've got to have time to at least give the vendors to say, yes, you guys, yes, we are going to do this, and yes, this is the plan. Like,
But I'd say you've already told them that, because she has a count of the vendors on the map.
everything that she's
This is
done
just
online
the-
thus far is to create interest.
This
No
is just
one
the
has
spaces
said This is
available.
an absolute. But we didn't know if there was gonna be enough interest to even go through this whole process without putting it out there and saying, hey, this could happen, would anybody be interested? So the fact that we have interested vendors and saying, yes, that we'd like to do this is what made us have to go through this whole process.
Is there any reason why you can't move from May the 8th to 2 weeks from then, since we're asking for 2 weeks?
That's contingent on
We,
5 East.
right, and that,
They have a whole calendar,
and, right,
so she-
and that's,
she
I'm
went
working
to 5
around
East to
5
make sure
East
that
too.
their calendar was gonna allow for this.
Somebody's gonna have to make a decision, or we'll be here for 3 days. So,
Oh, no, we won't.
You know what switches are.
in the future though, I don't want people to think that they can come in here and ramrod things through. I think the permits need to be completed. But with COVID, the traffic, I think it's a mess. So my motion,
Situation.
it is unusual coming out of COVID, so my motion would be to approve the permit to close the streets as they proposed, pending the chief of police's approval. And if he doesn't approve, then he'd have to approach us with a new plan that the chief, both the department heads approve.
Okay.
Okay,
So
but-
everybody's sending the chief of police flowers this week, right?
No.
Cupcakes,
Mhm.
whatever you want.
You're gonna get a whole bunch of cookies.
There's a motion, there's no second right now, so.
Second.
Wait a minute. And remember, we are going to shut that off. That's shutting it off there at the alley though, right? For Citizens Bank for the.
Mhm.
You said about-
Allowing the bank to be open and
Yes.
Bud Bloom have access behind them. It's the alley.
Yep,
Yeah, like you said.
yes.
And it's 4 directions. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
I will vote for it if you strike out the private security and you also get the fire chief's signature.
He already said he was going to give it.
I'm okay with it as long as we don't go into more positives and our county changes.
Hey, I'm giving her the majority, it's up to her.
It's up to her. That's the one vote.
Do I need to amend the original motion to mirror that, or does he?
The motion that's on the floor for voting right now is the plan has been presented, contingent upon the police chief.
So
Do you want to amend that now?
can I amend it,
So what
or
are
do we need to take that one down and revote?
the absolute cleanest way would be to vote this one down and then re-vote on a new motion that incorporates the changes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, so
All in favor?
So we're denying it, so
So
we.
raise your two hands. You guys got
okay, we'll just do two to approve. Yeah,
Ripley wouldn't believe this.
Yeah, I know, it is crazy. Oppose, abstain, motion dies for lack of a majority. Would you like to make a new motion?
Okay, I will. Do you want to make it, Dustin?
Make a
We're getting
motion, we
there.
approve the plan as presented with all the commentary pending both chief's signature on the piece of paper, and we strike out the private security so you don't have to provide liability insurance. There you go. That is in form of a
And the
motion.
applicant for the applicant.
Oh, yeah. And the applicant.
Contingent upon chief.
Everybody
They're
else
gonna
is wants
ask
and
for
needs.
tickets for the food trucks next, you know that, right?
I'll give everybody gets
No,
food
no, no.
truck tickets.
No, 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 no,
No,
no, no.
So then I'll second.
Motion made by Preston, seconded by Shane. Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I still don't like it, and I'm going to oppose it. And it's not because of that. I don't want to send our chiefs under the bus. And I also think that we need to work on maybe a different plan for the next one.
Okay.
But you said we try yours first, and you got your vote. I'm opposed, 4-1. Thank you.
Do I leave this stuff with you or do we take it back?
You're going to take that and hand that.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was the sound of a bus starting. There you go.
Okay, what about the action plan? Do you need to keep that too, or do we
I
need
want
to keep all this
you to
together?
keep that with it, and let's have this.
Mr. President, do we need to sign those now, or will we sign those after we have made our?
You're after you made your decision. Now, this is with conditions.
Yes.
Do we need to list out the conditions?
It's in the record, so as long as if the chief's signatures do not end up on here, then it will die.
We're going to send that down, everyone's going to sign it. It's open, it's on the page, and you please respect it.
Okay, thank you.
You might need a nap.
Lance needs a new pad to write down stuff on.
Tommy, you approved this, correct, but you still didn't like it, is that right?
No, I
No, he
voted
voted against.
I voted against it. Because that way I have her word, she said she'd try it my way next.
Should you have signed this though?
Yeah, I've lost many a vote and still signed them. I'm still part of this council.
Okay, all right.
And at this point in time, I'm gonna support our chiefs of police and chief of the fire department, no matter what.
So do you need to get a copy of this first, or just hand it back to her and have her bring it in?
Just have her take it back to Matt, and then he can hand it to Kevin, and
So that was a big
4-1.
655 State Road 267 sewer hook on. Do I have a gentleman here in response to that? Anyone here representing? Nope. Dave or?
Oh, I was getting ready at the table.
Thank you, Kevin.
It's been a while since I've been here, but I approached you about trying to get hooked up to city sewer, and we discussed that. We talked about going to talk to Holloway Engineering and getting them. This is their prints, Holiday Engineering. Came out and met with myself and my neighbor, and they have proposed that hookup. They said there's no problem hooking up in that way, and the plan would be to go east behind our house across our neighbor and hook up in the
So they're going to give you they're going to sell you an easement here and here?
I do, well, yes. We have an easement contract.
And it is a permanent easement?
We have an easement contract written up. Whoops, they're on vacation right now. When they get back, they said they're fine with it, but we're gonna meet with a lawyer with them and get everything signed, so it's all legal.
Dave, you haven't seen this either, haven't seen it yet. Is that still going east to, going behind this?
And you said that's a permanent easement.
Well,
Yeah,
that says temporary.
well, this is giving us temporary to bore through and get it hooked up.
Yeah, but would it be a permanent easement where it could be maintained at that point in time?
Yeah, I would assume so. I would assume that as far as us,
So as long as that force main is there, we need to have a permanent easement for our sewer lines. And so my recommendation is to have the documentation in order prior to the council taking any action on a determination. Because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to have a situation where the council comes in and says, okay, yes, we're going to approve this stuff, but you only have a temporary utility easement, which then defeats our ability to run the sewer anyway.
This won't be our sewer line, this will be his lateral.
Well, so on in that case for him, so you're going to pay for the entirety of this line. Well, you're still going to need, if with your lateral, you're going to need that to be a permanent easement, because even though you're just going to bore through, your line, your lateral is going to be across their land for the entirety of the time. So if something happens with that, because it's a lateral, that is your responsibility to fix, you're going to need to do it to get back in.
and that's stated in here. It's stated in here, maintaining and liability of utility sewage pipeline underneath is our responsibility for the, see that, Dave?
Yeah.
I mean, we can get this rewritten.
Yeah, my recommendation, because when you record those, and they see a temporary utility easement, they're really gonna, that's how it's going to be recorded, a temporary utility easement, as opposed to a permanent easement, which is gonna be granting you those rights. And it shouldn't change, I mean, if they're willing to allow you to come through, bore your lateral and put it in, it shouldn't change what their opinion is gonna be, but you need to have a permanent easement for your.
Yeah, this gives you the right to install it, you'll get something to maintain it perpetually.
One other question. Could we enlist your services to do that, to write this up? I mean, are you a lawyer here in town?
I'm a lawyer, I practice in Indianapolis.
Oh, you practice in Indianapolis, okay.
The issue that you're gonna run into there, one, is I would think that there are attorneys that have rates that are much cheaper than mine.
Okay.
That can help you.
Okay.
It's not gonna be it shouldn't be too complicated, but, I mean, my rate firm is $450.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right, okay. David, help me.
Okay. But I would recommend having all together in one plan, and then you guys, and then you guys take action at that.
Historically, we've never, we've always kind of been shy on running laterals across private property. I don't know how that force main works as far as you going in there on a gravity fed lateral. You have clean outs every so often. I don't know how that works. I'm not perfectly clear on what your maintenance will be, but I do know that when the next guy buys that property and you sell your property and you're 5 owners into it, someone's going to say, hey, I just dug up your lateral, it should have been in my property to begin with. So I think it's protecting everybody concerned.
Yeah.
Council, do you want to have him follow legal advice and come back to us when everything is permanent, or do we want to say, no, we don't want laterals on private property? What do we want to do on others' private properties?
You've got a permanent easement, possibly. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, as long as it's recorded permanent easement.
Okay.
Does that sound right to you, Jewel?
Yeah, because when you get the permanent easement, which grants him that, then it's essentially granting all the rights that go with that property for the installation, the maintenance of that line there. So it's almost as if he's purchased that stretch. So it resolves concern about, if you have to dig it up, it's all contained within.
Do we need a motion to have you work with his attorney or something?
No, I think he's gonna get his own attorney to do
Yeah,
that.
I think we're good.
So we'll just table this until you come back with whether it's next meeting or the next meeting. If you would, just contact Clerk Treasurer's office or send me an email like you did, and we'll make sure that it gets put on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Council, motion to table. Yeah, let's do that.
Go ahead.
Did Greg say it? Okay, motion to table.
Second.
Motion to table, and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Fire Department surplus.
So Chief Dalton has been working with me. I printed out documents and left them, as you guys know, at the office. One of those is a contract that we drafted for Vincennes for the truck, the engine itself. So we got that drafted up, and then the other one's going to be the bid document for the pickup. So the documents are drafted. I can circulate them to the council, but these are for the two vehicles that the fire department declared surplus recently. One to get disposed of. And Chief, am I right that you still want one of them to the Vincennes University Fire Department?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you with the AC.
The Vincennes Training Academy, and the other one is out for bid for the pickup.
Yes, they reached out, when I put it on our Facebook page, they reached out and said, what's the process going to be? I told them, I said, I just kind of putting it out to see what kind of people was out there kind of interested in our trucks. Talked to the legal, and he said that we can work with them since they are a
not-for-profit.
Yeah, it's not-for-profit. So now it's just kind of whatever he's drafted up, if you guys approve it, and then we can start working that next step into that. But yes, it is Vincennes University Fire
Safety,
something like that, yeah.
So we just don't need nothing until.
I don't think you need any action on it, but I can circulate to it. And I will be I'll reach out to the contact of Vincennes, just say, here's what we're looking at, this is what I'll present.
I can forward you his information.
Okay, perfect.
Next item on the agenda is the additional appropriation ordinance 5, 2021, and this is for our birthday party money. I'm going to celebrate it like a birthday.
Mr. President, Dave Reddick, who's the co-chair, is in the audience if you have any questions for him. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Shane said this was seed money. When do we get it back?
He's talking to you.
I was teasing Shane. Shane said that this was seed money, and I wanted to know when we got it back. That was a joke.
You want a true answer? You'll never see it, sir.
I want the PG answer. How's that?
I don't know, because I wasn't at the last meeting where you discussed this, but the way I perceive this is a really seed money to get the process going. We're not going to be celebrating the bicentennial until 2024, so we've got some lead time. So this is going to provide seed money to begin to start the planning process for it. And we fully intend that hopefully we'll come back to the council for more money, but rather we'll work up a game plan that allows us to raise money in the community, either from private citizens and businesses and organizations. And we will be considered a not-for-profit. And we've already made arrangements and have approval from the Community Foundation of Morgan County to operate, to have them operate as our fiscal agent, which is something that a lot of nonprofits do. So, and then they will take care of our accounting. We'll make, you know, as time goes on and we get closer to outlining some of the events we want to do, we'll come back to the council and have specific plans to present to you.
Are there any questions?
This is going specifically for the marketing side, the setup of the account, the
Yeah.
electronic social media, and the
Yeah,
ability
primarily it's
to
for
collect
that.
funds online and that sort of thing, right?
Exactly. And we have started to have meetings with a local marketing firm here in town on how to best do this, because if we're going to do it, we want to do it right.
This will fund that whole platform, correct?
Yes.
Basically, it just.
Yeah, because we're going to have a website, we're going to have Facebook and other social media activities, and then obviously a whole series of things that we propose for the celebration. And we're kind of seeing it at this point as a year-long set of celebrations. And part of it too is going to be not only having events during 2024, but also to come up with some ideas for what I call legacy projects. That is, projects that would be long-lasting. So, for example, during the state bicentennial, you know, you guys created the downtown bicentennial park, and I personally was involved in getting that historical marker for the anniversary of the state flag in Paul Hadley. So those are the kind of things I'm talking about, legacy projects. So we'll have some of those as we move along as well.
You actually met today, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. And,
I was supposed to be there and couldn't attend. But
that's right. We got a lot accomplished.
Good. Probably because I wasn't there.
I didn't say that.
Any more questions for Dave? As part of this ordinance, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would want to speak on behalf or against the additional appropriation?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion been made to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. This will be ordinance number 5, 2021. Are there any comments on the additional appropriation?
I believe this is the first reading,
Yes.
right?
So we can suspend the...
So you'll have to suspend the rules in order to...
So that is our option, as always. To approve this on the first reading, we would have to suspend the rules and to approve it on the first reading. And I would need a motion in that, or we can have a second hearing and delay the funding.
I'd make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 5-2021.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Shane, Jeff, 5-0. Now, I need a motion to approve on the first reading, ordinance 5, 2021.
I would make a motion to approve ordinance 5-2021 in the amount of $5,800 for the bicentennial committee.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Thanks for serving as a co-chair.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for approving all that. We'll be back, I'm sure, for the next
No more
3
money.
years.
5 days on your own. Piggyback, so piggyback should.
Well, I will come back to you.
Well, we appreciate you coming back.
Thank you so much for your time.
Don't see him as Matt Crouch here this evening. Nope. I did receive, or have been in contact with Matt Matt did say, and those that know the Crouch family know that, you know, they have a pretty good legacy of trying to make Mooresville a better place. He is reevaluating what his thoughts are on this. He did ask that, he said he didn't know whether he would make it tonight or not. He did ask that we table this until he may go in a different direction with this parcel. So rather than hear the recommendation from the Planning Commission this evening, he asked that it be tabled. I think he's looking at different ways to maybe improve that lot selection or the options for that lot.
Motion table.
Motion been made. Do I have a second? Second. Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
May I say something about this?
Yes.
I attended the last planning commission meeting in the audience, and I hope Matthew is watching tonight, but I was thoroughly embarrassed by the way one of our planning commissioners treated him. And that commissioner is no longer on the commission, but I wanted to personally apologize for the way he was treated, and I hope I don't ever see that from any town board ever again.
From any town board?
Commission.
Okay. Next we have redevelopment commission refunding. I think we have a gentleman here from Baker Tilly.
Good evening, members of the council. My name's Jason Simler, a partner with Baker Tilly, and serve as a financial advisor for the Mooresville Redevelopment Commission. And they have the opportunity to refinance some bonds that they have outstanding. Just like many of you have taken advantage of the low interest rates and may have refinanced the mortgage on your house. The Redevelopment Commission has an opportunity to take advantage of the interest rates on the bond market and refinance bonds they have outstanding and take advantage of lower interest rates. The Redevelopment Commission issued bonds in 2014. There's about $10,760,000 of principal outstanding. Those interest rates range from about 2 to 4%. Met with the Redevelopment Commission, I think in February, and told them of this opportunity. They did give us instruction to go out and talk to local banks, underwriters, to see if there was any interest, to see if anyone would refinance the bonds. We came back last meeting and with 5 different proposals. There was actually one underwriter that came with a bank that said we would commit to a 2.85% rate, and that was fixed for the 19 years which remain. So we're not lengthening the term of the bonds. We're just taking, again, advantage of lower interest rates. And with one of the other requirements that this bank did have was with bonds payable from TIF, and I should say these bonds are payable just from pure TIF, tax increment revenue that's generated and collected by the Redevelopment Commission. There's no property tax backup or income tax backup, it's just TIF only, and we're keeping that the same security. Typically, those bonds require money set aside equal to a 1 year's full payment, which is about $1 million right now. That way, if the TIF doesn't come as anticipated, there's money to make that bond payment. This bank's willing to cut that reserve down in half. So the extra $500,000 that the Redevelopment Commission is just sitting there in the bank, really earning no interest. They're able to take half that money and apply it towards the payment and pay $500,000 down faster. So because of the lower interest rate and be able to use some cash on hand, the annual payments go up $75,000 a year less over the life of the bonds. So about $1.4 million less in annual payments. When you discount that back with the cash on hand that they're applying, it's about $226,000 of net present value savings over that 19-year period. So there's a resolution in front of you before the Redevelopment Commission approved to go forward at their last meeting. They approved to go forward with the bank with the fixed rate that's known. And now the bond resolution's in front of you if you decide to go forward with refinancing. And if you decide to go forward, we'll plan on refinancing these bonds in probably early May.
Jason, how much savings was that? Just
$226,000 in net present value. I would, couldn't the redevelopment board have negotiated that a little bit better?
No.
No. No, they did an outstanding job. I appreciate that very much. I would say this is an advanced refunding because so that makes these funds taxable. So this is even more incredible that we're going from a tax exempt rate to a taxable rate and still able to save that type of money. So.
Further questions for Jason?
Has Jewel, have you reviewed this resolution or did you prepare it?
No, this was prepared by Adam, but Adam and I have discussed it, and so it is fine, and I'm good with the resolution itself.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I need a motion to either approve or deny Resolution 13, 2021.
Motion to approve Resolution 13, 2021.
Motion been made, do I have a second? Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you for, did you present this to them or did they come to you about it first?
He brought it up.
Thank you for doing that and thank you for the redevelopment commission. That's a good deal.
Thank you for saying, yeah, let's say it's a 250,000.
Sorry.
I want to slide in there under new business, something that we brought up about our planning commission. Is Dave Sadler here by any chance? Back, I don't think it's been quite a year ago, we actually considered appointing Dave Sadler to our planning commission. But at that point in time, where we had issues was it would have created a quorum of our BZA every time our planning commission met. Because we've had a recent opening at our planning commission, that is an executive appointment to that planning commission. In speaking with Dave, what we would have to do, or what I've asked from him, is for him to, and keep in mind, this is all per IC codes. I've asked him to resign from the Board of Zoning Appeals, which he willingly gave me a verbal commitment that he wanted to resign from the Board of Zoning Appeals. And then as an executive appointment, we're going to appoint him to the I'm going to appoint him to the Planning Commission. And then because the vacancy that was created on the Planning Commission was also the executive appointment from the Planning Commission to the BZA, we're going to appoint Dave to the BZA. So he left, he came back. It was everyone that I spoke to about Dave was very impressed with his knowledge, his consideration of others, and the way that he conducted himself during our Board of Zoning Appeals meetings. And that's what we want our planning commission.
And the issue of the quorum went away because the individual who's not there was
Right.
a BZA member and now
Yes.
is not going to.
Yes, so that we still have our two members. One of them is appointed by the Planning Commission to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and one of them is appointed by the executive of this body to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So we still have we met our commitment there. We do have at that point in time we still have a non-Republican appointment to the BZA that is open now. We filled one portion of it, but we created an opening. And I think that someone had sent in an application for that, and we'll be looking to fill that soon.
Is that a council appointment?
On that one there, it is. I think that one is still. I'm gonna have to look. I apologize. I knew that answer.
Well, you have to be a linear programmer to keep track of these.
That's just it. That one there would be an executive appointment also.
Okay.
To that end, I did circulate a application, a resume. I don't know if you've had a chance to read over those or talk to that gentleman. Outstanding gentleman to speak to on the phone, and he had modified his application. Originally thought about the Planning Commission, but then also considered the Police Commission. So that is a full council appointment. It is a non-Republican appointment to that, and he does fill that criteria. So whatever the council wants to do on that, we can move forward, or we can delay that until our next meeting. Our Police Commission has operated with two for a couple of months now.
I haven't had a chance to speak to him personally, and that's because of my schedule, not because of, that's just because of my personal.
That's on the radar. If we would maybe, if you can reach out to him, and we'll look at that maybe next meeting.
Was he willing to do planning though?
He was willing to do planning, but he was also willing to do Police Commission.
Okay.
But our Planning Commission today is filled except for one town employee position.
That's right, with David just going on, so.
Yes.
Okay. So the only place we could put him is police at this point.
Police, or we could put him on a BZA if we chose to do that.
So he was good with BZA as well?
He was good with the Planning Commission, and I spoke to him about the police. I did not ask him about the BZA.
Okay.
Department heads.
Good evening. I think many of you might remember last year some residents from Roberson Woods were here requesting some drainage work done. We started that this week. We were set back yesterday by a locate error, my fault. The guys were determined. They were able to get 600 feet of drain pipe put in today. So that, you might appreciate that. But that project will be finished up tomorrow. Next week we're going to start street sweeping. We'll do the entire town. I'm sure everyone's noticed the traffic April 1st through June from the bridge to Carter Street on High Street is shut down completely. We've discussed that. And the last thing I had an employee transfer out, and I'd like to ask tonight to replace that employee with the council.
I think of course, I think that they were going to try to pay him the rest of the year off of your budget.
Ouch.
He just laterally transferred. We usually say, hey, have you filled your obligations? And I still think that this is kind of a questionable. Does he need our approval, or does he just give us, this is what I'm going to do? I don't know that we've ever really determined that.
So department heads, I think we trust them.
I mean, at one point in time, we made a motion whether or not they could fill that position, but if it's in their budget and it's funded.
I think it's just that they inform us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're informed. Thank you, sir.
The High Street house is coming down, I noticed.
Yeah, I did see some construction on that this week.
It's about 3/4 of the way down.
Yeah.
Getting there, getting things cleaned up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
The run stats for last month, we had 104 EMS runs, 5 fires, we had 32 other calls, we had 15 inspections. Our 2 new hires have gotten started on their shifts. Next Monday, we will be hiring our 3rd one that resigned and left for another fire department, so we replaced that person. He'll be starting on Monday. Everything's went through with the PERF and the local pension board. And then we'll be back up to somewhat full staff. As of March 31st, we had one gentleman resign with 37 years in. Now I'm coming with you guys as the town personnel book to basically request to start the next process for replacing that one down the road.
Again, once the financial obligations are fulfilled, fill the position. Is that correct? Is that the consensus of the council?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, once again, informed, sir.
Thank you for informing us.
Okay. Also, with talking with Steve Leday today with the farmhouse market and stuff, we are going to have a vaccination clinic here at Paul Hadley Middle School, which is going to be on April the 24th and May 22nd. They are shooting for 3,000 vaccinations.
Can you repeat that again?
For the days?
Yeah.
April 24th and May 22nd. And that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Paul Hadley Middle School. Leday has reached out to us, myself and Brown Township, to basically supply and help supply to give off the COVID shots. We're just kind of waiting on our staff to basically see if they want to assist in doing that mass vaccination. So that is coming down in the next couple of months with that. Other than that, I have nothing further unless you got questions.
Do you have to have appointments for that, or is it walk-in?
I'm just going to assume it's going to be appointments.
Sir, which brand is it?
Moderna, he said. Moderna. So.
2 shots.
Yep, 2 shots.
Because when we originally inquired, they thought it'd be difficult to have one up here, so.
Yep. He just got informed today. So he reached out to us and
that's good.
So yeah. Yep.
Drive-through. Drive-through. Will it be a drive-through mass clinic?
I don't know. We're still working on all the things. I would assume that it will be a drive-through. So if they're shooting for 3,000, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
I only had a couple things. I did touch base with Councilman Worthen. Don from Federal Signal is ready to install the new tornado sirens. I think the only thing we really need to do is get concrete confirmation on the locations. Newby's set in stone. We're going to put it right back in the same place. I think there was talk of the wastewater treatment plant for the other, and then somewhere in the park, and I talked to Mark briefly, somewhere around the office of the Pioneer Park. I know when we first started this whole mission, you pretty much had me and Steve spearhead that. If that is still the case, I planned on coordinating with Dave, with Rex at the school, the park, on how we're going to install, get the power to them and everything like that, if that is still your desire.
Fine with me.
If he has time to get out from underneath the bus, I think he should.
At least I gave him a heads up it was coming.
Does it make it worse?
Does it make it worse?
It was obvious the bus was in motion.
So I will proceed with that. If I have any issues, I will contact you if that is okay to get confirmation.
Yes, and as close to existing power as possible is the best.
And we have confirmed academy dates for our 3 new hires. We'll be starting in June at the academy, so we'll be able to get those done by the end of the year. We're still waiting to fill 1 more position. And I think that's about all I have.
We're 1 down?
Just 1 down now.
Awesome.
Still time at 4 because we got to get the other 3 on the road, but
with the sirens, are you thinking like 2 to 4 weeks from now, or what?
Well, it all depends upon how quick we can come to a decision on the location, and then make sure that we have power run to that, and who's actually going to help connect that power to those. And I was going to talk to Dave and get some of his advice on what they're going to do. And of course, the school's going to be involved, and then the park is going to be involved.
I like all your locations.
Huh?
I like all the locations.
They seem like pretty good locations. I mean, I can't remember who made the decision on the wastewater treatment plant, but Newby's just a replacement, and then of course the park. I think the park board's kind of decided up by, but I'll get confirmation on that up by the office.
That's going to reach a lot more population.
Well, I think the sewer plant was because we have power there.
Yeah.
And it would pick up Roberson. So that would be, or not Roberson, Rooker.
Yeah.
Would they be, is it Dan Tingle? I've met the guy twice, unfortunately. But would get with him to find out where they want to do it, or are you guys gonna make the decision on where you want that at the?
I think
wastewater
if you
treatment
can,
plant?
I think if you can work with the guy from Signal Company, I think or that's going to install it, and just say, okay, where do we have power now? Because I think he's bringing the poles and all that.
Yeah,
Where
we
do
should
we
have
have-
all the infrastructure to put it in. And I haven't talked to him, I don't know if they're gonna replace, because you've seen the system that the Nibby one's on. It's kind of a crossbar type thing. I don't know if they're just gonna go stake one pole and put that all stuff on that pole or not, but I'm assuming that's possibly what's gonna happen.
Do you know what's gonna happen to the old movie siren? I know it's a really old one, but it works.
I think there's some discussion about that, but I have no idea.
I don't think we want to lose possession of it at this point in time.
Put it outside Tommy's bedroom window.
He's already got
There
one.
you go. There you go. Yeah, I already got one at the shop, right?
Any other questions about that?
Thank you. Legal counsel.
A couple,
I don't think we have anyone. Okay, go ahead.
all right, a couple different issues that I just need guidance from the council. First of all, we have an issue where a demand has been made regarding the Smalling issue, which is the replacement of the damaged roofs. In looking at what was presented to us, what I would like to do is respond and push back with a counter offer of the amount that was actually of work that was conducted, which is either going to be $1,119 or $1,150, depending upon our research of that. So I would ask council for approval to continue negotiations with that amount, those amounts.
Motion to approve?
Have a motion, do I have a second? Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Next thing on is that I want to have discussions and take over the contact regarding just a couple other issues regarding the cemetery and communications that Julie's having to deal with. I just need approval from the council to take over that and run with that project.
Motion to approve?
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
My apologies to Chief Julian, I had forgotten, I sent it to him, but it's in the stack of papers that I didn't bring with me. The resolution for declaration of surplus for the revolver that he was going to get out, I'll have that at the next meeting for the council, so apologies for that. And I'm also working on review of his SOPs and the 10 documents that he has regarding officers. We are in receipt of the April 15th report that is required by the Department of Local Government Finance, or to be made to the Department of Local Government Finance by the Redevelopment Commission and present to us for council as well. So just putting that on the record. I think that's it. Happy to answer any questions. Oh, and real quickly on the mask, I do want to bring up the whole mask mandate and the expiration. The governor's order of the mask mandate expires on today, right?
Today's the 6th.
Today's the 6th.
Today's the day.
And so what he has done is he's indicated that the local officials may be able to enact their different regulations. I've reached out to other communities. Some of the local communities that are surrounding us have not taken action on it and have not really considered it as of yet. The options that you have are to do nothing. The county has taken action apparently yesterday. In reading through theirs, it is a suggestion to wear a mask. But this council does have the opportunity or the option to take action on how masks are going to be or should be utilized in the town footprint.
Do you mean within government offices? When you say town footprint, or?
Well, that's what I would recommend, is that you make a resolution there. Technically, under the way that the governor's mandate was issued, if you look at like Indianapolis. For Indianapolis, the mask mandate remains if you're out in public, you're wearing a mask. And Fishers, I believe, is going to do a similar type of thing like that. The question is, what action does this council want to take? I think absolutely you're going to want to give some guidance as to what masks are going to be and how they're going to be required if they are or if they aren't in town-owned property. So you're talking about governmental entities, areas such as this, police station, clerk's office for people come in and pay the bills when it comes to masks. So I think you will want to come up with guidance on that.
Can I ask a dumb question? Does the town council have the authority to tell the people what to do outside of, can we tell people you have to wear a mask?
Technically, under this, the emergency order from the governor? Yes, because it is the emergency declaration of a health epidemic. So the governor is indicating that the locals have that authority. If you want to go down through the whole legality of it, and we want to go down that rabbit hole, I can make a lot of arguments to say that no, that you don't. I can make arguments to say that the governor didn't have the authority to issue the mask mandate. But I'm not the one that makes a final determination on it. What I can tell you is that you have the ability to regulate wearing of masks within town-owned locations.
Do you want a discussion on this?
Yes, please.
I'm against trying to do any kind of a mandate town-wide, like for the public and large businesses and whatever. I don't see how I'm not sure of that. I kind of like the idea of going with the recommendation that's recommended for government offices, but my question there is, like in this particular building, we have the clerk's office, so she has control over her office, correct? I can't order her to do what I want with her office, correct?
That you cannot order the clerk, because the clerk is a separately elected position, of how she's going to run her office or operate the office. But you can put, in this situation, it's my opinion, you can put a mandate, say, people who are going to be utilizing town offices or coming into town offices must wear a mask or are encouraged to wear a mask or whatever. I believe you can set that policy, because that is not really just an indication of the clerk, you're going to run your office in this way, shape, or form. This is a town-wide requirement.
And you have face shields hanging up anyway, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we have plexiglass, and actually we rearranged the entire office to get us all 6 feet apart from one another. Plus, we've got plexiglass in front of each cubicle, so individuals come in the office. We've had a few that have come in still wearing them today, a few that did not, but we did not challenge that. We just, we just kept the sign on the door that the mask is still mandated. We haven't taken that off the door yet, because I'm just going to wait to see what happened with it this evening.
I like the county's idea of recommending it but not requiring it. But that's just my initial thought. That could be.
Now, is that employees and customers, or just the citizenry coming in? That has been my concern.
Well, I'm assuming in your case, would you leave your employees? That decision would be hers for the clerk's office. Would you still make them wear masks, or do you now? I can't remember.
As long as we're at our workstation, we're not wearing a mask, but once we get up and we know that we're going to cross over into someone's work area that's closer than 6 feet, we will put a mask on, because we really don't know who's going to walk through that door while I'm walking back to the vault room or anything. So we're wearing them when we see a visitor coming in, and when we get up and walk around and interact with one another.
That's what I'm seeing in a lot of, because I go in a lot of different businesses. It's pretty much
And
what
I'm
I
comfortable
see.
with doing that, you know, I think it's probably best practice if we continue wearing our mask when we have guests coming into the office.
At least for a while longer. But I don't, I mean, the police station has its own foyer with a barrier anyway.
Can we just leave it up to the department heads? I know that bus is gonna get really big now. But, I mean.
Don't sell that fire truck. We're gonna run out of buses.
Well, so the fire station's different than the street department. Street department's different than this building. So can we just leave it up to them? I mean, they're kind of doing that anyway.
The only thing that I was concerned with is, you know, you have, anyone that comes in here to pay their sewer bill is captive to us. They can't go anywhere else to pay their sewer bill. If the Whataburger has a mask mandate and the Charborough doesn't, you can.
I was going to say, wait a minute, where's their Whataburger?
You can choose. I didn't want to get some, but you can go wherever you want to there. Don, are you asking your employees to wear their masks when, and I looked at this, when customers come in?
Take this off so you can hear me. Left.
You just answered it.
Exactly. Yes. We canvassed all the people in the administration building. Well, our administrator did. And the decision was, of course, we left all the protection up, and, you know, the plexiglass is up. And they felt comfortable if it's their call. What they feel is what they feel like they want to do, that's what they do.
Okay.
We encourage everybody, of course, to still wear the mask and do the social distancing. But, you know, the really crazy word is mandate. You can't mandate something unless you can enforce it. And with the governor's statement, you really can't, he removed the mandate, essentially. So that put, you know, so we make a mandate. Somebody says, what are you going to do about it?
Don, we passed an ordinance, it's a $500 penalty for not wearing your mask. So when can we expect that payment?
Yeah. That'll keep Mr. Lee very, very busy.
There you go. I don't know. You know, do we want to say that if they come in to pay pay your sewer bill, you may be greeted with a non-masked employee? I know. We have a captive audience. If you want a building permit or if you want to pay your sewer bill, you have to come here.
Well, I think we could say for our employees that if they have interaction directly with a taxpayer or customer that they just as a courtesy wear their masks. We could do that.
Yeah, that's, I don't want to tell the lady that comes in to pay her sewer bill or the man that comes in to get a building permit that he has to wear a mask, but I think as a courtesy, we have an obligation to try to keep the public safe as much as they want to be kept safe, I guess.
And I think the public's smart enough to take care of itself for the most part of it.
Ooh. It's okay. It's okay. He's just joking. It's okay.
I mean, if you're not at high risk, you know, it's up to you what you do.
Yeah.
My wife's high risk, so we've been careful with her. You know?
So
I don't need the government to tell me to do that, you know.
but do you want the government to do it for you as far as that was my concern. My concern isn't, I'm not going to tell someone they have to wear a mask when they go into the Quick Mart. But do we want to tell our employees as a courtesy or as a protection for the public, when you're less than 6 feet away or when you don't have the barrier, we'd like for you to wear a mask around
I
the
think
public.
that makes complete sense. If I owned a business right now, I would have my employees wear a mask as a courtesy. I wouldn't make my customers wear a mask when they walk in the door.
Right.
And that's the same principle. I don't think that's
Yeah,
reasonable.
that was my goal. We'll lead by example, and if no one follows us, that's not our fault.
Yeah. And let's face it, like, our street garage doesn't have, not many customers go in
They
there.
don't have the public coming in.
Yeah. They would come in this building.
Kevin, is that something you can enforce at your department?
Nope. Well, look at me as far as just a mask mandate.
Nope.
It's not enforceable.
No, I mean, as far as just to say, hey, if someone comes in, they want to speak to an officer, can you please put a mask on? The officer, can you please?
Oh,
put
yeah.
Yeah,
And most people are pretty important about that. We've never had an issue with that.
right. I mean, we're doing it for their protection also. Is that unreasonable legally?
No, I mean, because what you're talking about is a requirement of your employees, so it's essentially a requirement of the job to wear a mask if they're going to come in contact with the members of the public. And so I think you can do that fully within your right. That's the next statement.
Yeah.
I like the option, I mean, to force them or make them put a mask on, no, I think the government's had too much control in the first place, so. I think, like Kevin said, there's never been an issue. If wants somebody to put a mask on, either we get further distance or put a mask on. You know, sit there and argue the point, so. To come up with a set policy, I would be against that.
I like the word recommended over amended.
Are you saying even for our employees?
I would be, yes.
Any more discussion? What would we like to do, gentlemen?
How would you like to word it?
Shane, or I don't know if you,
I guess, do you want a motion to say that our employees wear a mask when they come in contact with taxpayers?
and can't social distance.
Yeah, and aren't able to social distance properly.
I would like that. I would support that.
But that it's not a motion for the entire town, it's for our employees only.
Yeah.
And our facilities.
Yes.
Does that satisfy what?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, it's your policy, so.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Motion been made, do I have a second? Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I will be opposed because I want the option. I want the employees to have the option.
No, I mean, that is the option. Get away with putting a mask on.
Oh, okay. I was just
To me, that's an option. No, I was for it.
Oh, okay, I was just curious.
Shane Gray, 4-1.
I thought we voted against each other and I thought that was cool.
Do you have anything else, legal counsel?
I do not.
Are there any public comments this evening? Motion for approval of payment of claims.
They're down there.
I'll make it. I never make a motion.
Motion to approve the claims. $709,826.89.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
I will second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Okay, that's 5-0. Town council comments. Jeffrey?
My only comment is to Chief Julian about the permit, sorry about that. You know, I just didn't want the business owners to leave tonight without an answer. You know, I know it's not the proper process, but we'll work through it, we'll eventually get the ultimate goal and get an event downtown here. I'll work with you this weekend, get with you where you're designated to monitor traffic, and I'll help you get back with the business owners. So it's not all on you, so no problem. That's all I have.
I put it all on him.
Oh, it's okay.
I think with COVID.
I think we all did.
We're trying to figure it out. COVID, the traffic makes everything tough, so we're trying to.
Just a bad year.
It is, and it's just, I think you just try to work together and get things done. Somebody had to make a decision. I will say that I have gone ahead and donated, Diana, was it $1,500 towards the hearing impaired devices? Those aren't in yet, are they?
They are in.
They are.
We're scheduling that for installation, I believe, one day next week.
So that'll be for people that need it for hearing, in addition to the new sound system. So that's good. So that donation has been made for the record.
Greg?
I'm good.
Justin?
Just wanted to recognize our county commissioner, Don Adams, is in the audience. She kind of already did that, but always try to recognize our county officials here. Thank you for coming.
He's a county commissioner?
Yes. You may have seen him before, but he's back.
Grover Cleveland. Anything else?
No.
My only comment is, you know, they both said the same thing as far as we don't intend to throw you under the bus. We just count on you guys that much. You have each and every one of our support, no matter what. So please don't take it personal. I understand exactly what they did. They were we try to please everyone. Sometimes people leave here upset. Sometimes they leave here happy. It is what it is, but we all five of us do the absolute best that we can at the end of every meeting. So thank you guys. We'll get through it. And maybe we'll change, or maybe we'll say, hey, we shouldn't have had any apprehension. I hope that's what it is. Our next meeting date is going to be April 20th. You guys want to do it here?
Please.
Okay, about 6:30?
Unless you find a water broker.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good evening, Jeff.
Bye, Jeff.
Be safe, Jeff.
Yes, I printed off a copy for you.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm going to submit that to Gateway tomorrow.
Okay.
With the additional appropriation approval on that as well.
I didn't know either. I was kind of curious about that.
I'm Chris Hobbit. I was the one that applied for the police.
I'm sorry I didn't ask, but you said...
No, I just was... I feel like my point is just to stay there and be quiet.
Okay, well, come on down here. I want to introduce you to...
That was Debbie's intent, because over time I said, who put this on my desk? Tim goes, I didn't.
Okay. Nice to meet you.